Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking and updating you all on what's happening with Slayer Fighter. There's been numerous people stopping into the stream and on my YouTube videos, now a little bit more curious than ever about this fighter build. Seeing videos and stuff being posted about it everywhere, which is amazing. I love to see it. One tool you cannot drop in Slayer Fighter is the crossbow. So today we're going to talk about skills, perks, weapons, how everything meshes together, and what's making Slayer so popular right now. And the first thing I should address right off the hop is this whole Manosphere Crystal Ball Slayer Fighter. It doesn't work. The weapon damage is not being added to your main hand, so as many people may be telling you it is amazing or good, it's placebo. It's not doing anything. Maybe they'll fix it, I don't know. I just know when I tested it, as you're seeing here, nothing is happening. So take that as you will, and we're going to move into things that actually do work. Alrighty, so let's talk perks and skills. Really, Slayer Fighter has not changed that much. I think what's changed more has been everything else around it. The lack of damage is pretty much contributing to the fact that Slayer is now so much more valuable. So you have 5 additional weapon damage using Slayer, which gives you a huge advantage over a lot of other classes, especially Rogue. And I think Fighter is now just a much better, faster, more damaging Rogue in a way. And this is the way I've always played. I've always enjoyed Slayer Fighter or dual wield because you're quick, and in solo, that is so essential. So this is what I run. Dual wield, Slayer, combo attack, and projectile resistance. I do see people swapping combo attack for Swift, but the movement speed is so negligible. The only time I might consider it would be if you're running Falchion, and you can't really get any sort of agility or movement speed from agility clothing. I always run Arming Sword, and we'll talk a little bit about weapons at the end. So that's pretty much why I don't mess around with Swift. It doesn't really do much for you in the early stages of gear. And I've always considered Slayer Fighter to be kind of a cheap option. So I go combo attack. You will make the most of combo attack if you're using an Arming Sword. You can quite often get 3 or 4 swings in those 2 seconds. If you do the double slash quickly and then even the finisher, you're getting a little damage bump, which can be crucial, as you'll be seeing shortly. It is hugely important. Every piece of damage right now is so valuable. And that is why Slayer has kind of jumped up, I think, the ranks in terms of tier lists and all these things. The other question I get all the time is about running a secondary, such as a short sword. Maybe we can buy one here quickly. Or the dagger, for example. And having this be like a crazy damage combo. And you're not wrong. It is a crazy damage combo. You're just sacrificing 10 movement speed. And a lot of people don't think 10 movement speed is that much. But when you're matched up against another Slayer fighter with 10 movement speed more than yourself, that is conditioned to lose right there. And I like to play Slayer Fighter as like a dart in and out of combat. I don't like to be sitting on top of a target swinging my weapons anymore, unless you know for a fact you're going to out DPS trade them. There's not too many people you'll face that you can really stand to go blow to blow with. Like a blow corruption Falchion is going to basically delete you. Barbarian will delete you if they're hitting you. All these classes, Cleric even with Smite, they do a lot of damage, and you need to be basically using your movement as much as possible. So I prefer to not do this. I'm not going to say it's not good. Short Sword is an exceptional combination with Arming Sword, and it was what I ran for many playtests, and still love the combination. It is so fun to use. I'm just saying, Lantern, the fact that you can get a +2 damage Lantern is probably BIS, and I don't like using that word, but it is best in slot. So the fact that Lantern exists basically means a lot of these other options are, if you have one that has good stats on it, like maybe you have a Short Sword or a Castellan that has +2 strength, +2 damage, or something along those lines, go ahead. It's fun. I'm not going to say it's wrong. Mace, another option people talk about a lot. Awesome damage potential, crazy armor pen. Go for it. It's just harder to land. It's just harder to land those blows and not be sour spotted by the shaft. Other option you can have is Second Wind, removing it for Adrenaline Rush. I do get a lot of people saying this is their preferred method. That is also fun. Adrenaline Rush basically just increases your DPS, and if you're doing this crazy combo with the 2 weapons in the primary slots, that is a lot of damage. You can do +5 weapon damage on both of these. So you are chunking through players quite quickly. It is effective. I'm not saying it isn't, it's just not how I like to play. But yeah, Adrenaline Rush, Flange Mace. Basically 3 taps most things, if you have a good one. So play what you want. Adrenaline Rush is good. Just the fact that the fights are a little longer, you have more of a chance to use Second Wind now than you used to. So that has always been my preference this past, couple weeks. Other things I will say is Second Wind is pretty much deleted by a Blow of Corruption because you lose your healing. So if you're fighting Warlocks, perhaps Adrenaline Rush is better. Just gives you more damage for those few moments they're not in Phantom Eyes. But other than that, that is just a quick summary of what I like to do. I'm going to show you some examples. We'll talk about them. Falchion is another good option, which you'll see. And then we'll discuss maybe Falchion and some of the things I'm seeing in High Roller and other places with Slayer Fighter. Alright, so first example, we're going to talk a little bit about Falchion and whether or not it's better than Arming Sword. Falchion gives you a little bit more reach. As you're seeing here, you're probably thinking, why is this guy talking about Falchion when he's actually running an Arming Sword? Well, we're about to fight a guy that's using Falchion. And we'll see the differences and just discuss. Everyone I'm finding in High Roller is running Falchion just for that chunk of crazy damage. Unfortunately for me here, I smoked the roof. And the other thing that happened was I didn't have combo attack on. If I had combo attack on, I likely win this fight. This guy is literally 1 HP before he had his Second Wind rolling. That was very winnable. But in that area, Falchion was hitting me cleaner because I was smacking roofs, I guess. So, Falchion's amazing. It is very, very good, and it can headshot very well at very solid range. You can also avoid longswords a little better using Falchion. If you talk to Augustin and watch any of his content, he loves parrying Arming Swords. The only real saving grace is there's not many longsword users out there, so Arming Sword can still find some success against other fighter players. Just have to be very, very careful when fighting Falchion user. They will try to outrange you consistently, slapping you in the face. We'll say at the end of this, you'll see probably one of my favorite Arming Sword moments in Howling Crypts, but for now, let's talk about Viking Sword. Viking Sword is a little underused, and I was quite impressed. Second Swing has longer range on it than I expected. If you want just a pure DPS, hold the mouse button down, and swing like crazy type weapon, Viking Sword is not that bad. The swings are not terribly slow anymore, and you hit headshots consistently when you're hitting shots. Can be tricky as people are darting side to side, but as you saw here, a green Viking Sword can deal some crazy damage. It is pretty solid. Combo that with maybe Adrenaline Rush, you might even have the highest DPS primary weapon on the fighter class right now. So that is an interesting option. It's just the range and swing pattern is a little bit more difficult to get used to. So, try it, run it. I've enjoyed it. It worked for me here, and we upgraded our kit quite nicely while using it. And so lastly, we're just going to show some of my favorite Howling Crypts footage of anything I've recorded recently. And luckily enough, we did this all live, so other people got to enjoy it as well. But essentially, this is how and why I enjoy Slayer Fighters so damn much. You can take out targets from range, you can move in and out of combat consistently, and deal with multiple targets, and make the job of running you down very, very difficult. Starting this one off, we spot a team underneath us, which is perfect. We can make use of this crossbow. And truthfully, I was not expecting to land too many shots in this cleric. But somehow, we thread the needle and land a headshot, which gets us underway into what is a very exciting fight. Once I dropped that cleric and got a good look at a few of the other players in this guy's team, I had a lot of confidence that my gray crossbow, and I'm pretty sure I'm running a gray Arming Sword here, 27 damage Arming Sword for 25 gold. I had some confidence that we could swing this fight our way. The only thing you need to be careful of if you're fighting a bard or another fighter is, generally speaking, they almost always have a crossbow too. And damage trading against this is not as bad as it would have been if they had a cleric, but still. You take a couple crossbow bolts, forced to be popping Second Wind a little early, or trying to heal while getting pushed by a bard, isn't really that easy of a situation. This guy moves in. We miss our crossbow. Which is exactly what we need to hit to give ourselves a little bit more space. We try to make sure we can keep out of his halberd range. Luckily that crossbow bolt did not connect in our head, or else we'd be hurting much more. Trying to get some space, we need to take out this bard because he is the one player we can burst down quickly. Fortunately, he jumps over the side. Damage trading against halberd is almost impossible because they don't have a sour spot right now, which makes every single one of these interactions with that fighter incredibly deadly. He can pretty much two-shot me and knows it. There's no sour spot on the handle or shaft of that weapon, and it can be extremely frustrating dealing with it. However, we get a bit of time to heal up, maybe make the most of this crossbow, as the bard and I are trying to throw some bolts through a narrow crack in the wall. I imagine the fighter is back to pretty decent HP. Looks like he's also grabbed a protection pot. We must also now juke this crossbow once again. Dealing with the bard, we need to keep moving or else we're dead. One hit to the head with a halberd, it is game over. He pops second wind, which is kind of a frustrating thing to hear at this stage in the fight. I thought we had him kind of where we wanted him, and did not realize he was still holding on to that. So the only way we can really win this is if we make him miss with the halberd, or we get our HP back and maybe get lucky on a damage trade. Because we need to get in close with this sword, and I do not want to take halberd swing at max range. Choosing our moment, we land 2 shots, he misses his. We land 2 more shots, and then finally we drop him with 1 HP remaining. It's one of the only times I can actually say that the potion ticking in the background likely saved my life. So enjoy. I'm glad to see a lot more Slayer fighters out there. I hope you guys are enjoying the fighter class and this high-speed gameplay. It has been something I've been enjoying for a long, long time. So welcome. Enjoy it while it lasts. Who knows what changes are coming for the future of Dark and Darker or the fighter class in general. But I'll see you guys all in the next video. Cheers.